Welcome into the On3 studios here in Nashville, Tennessee. It is the Inside Scoop. We are back at it and officially under 1 week until December 20 National Signing Day, and we got a special show. We're going to cover it all the recent developments, as we always do on the show, and we are setting the table for what could be an absolutely wild week until the early signing period. Now, we are live on this beautiful Thursday morning, and as always, let me know where you're watching from. Tap in below. Are you at work? Is this lunch break for you? Are you sitting in court? Let me know where you're watching from. As always, clock in, lock in, and let's get this show started. All right, we are officially 6 days out from National Signing Day. This time next week, everybody's going to be grading their class, making wild projections, and turning the page to 2025. But what could possibly happen over the next few days? Well, in recruiting, anything could happen, and you know that's why you're here. So hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. If you've watched more than one of my videos and you're not subscribed, come on, get on board, hit subscribe. Okay, let's go. I'm going to give you the 5 storylines I'm following between now and National Signing Day. Let's start at number 1, and this is a doozy. Can Nebraska flip quarterback Dylan Raiola? Now, if Matt Rhule can pull this off, it'll be the biggest flip in Nebraska history. Raiola committed to Georgia in May after Nebraska made a really solid run at him, but finished second in that recruitment. Then things kind of went quiet all summer, all season, and then on Monday, news broke. All this momentum has been in Nebraska's favor since early in the week. You guys have been reading all about Dylan Raiola, the 5-star, the number 17 overall prospect in the country. Now, the rumors have been swirling, and this weekend, though, it's going to get real because Dylan Raiola is set for a big official visit in Lincoln. And Chad Simmons, director of recruiting for On3, is reporting that if the flip happens this weekend, Raiola could actually stay in Lincoln, sign on Wednesday, and begin his career as Oscar. This thing is happening fast. All right. Number 2 thing that I'm watching is number 1 wide receiver Jeremiah Smith's final decision. He's the number 1 overall wide receiver and player in the 2024 class. He's committed to Ohio State and has been for quite a while. Now, he's been taking his visits, and it's no secret that UF, Miami, and FSU are the teams that are heavily involved in his recruitment. But he has been solid to Ohio State, hasn't wavered, hasn't decommitted. But he did tell me in Nashville at our NIL event that he will make a final decision in late December. Here we are. Sources are saying that FSU is the one team that probably has the best shot to knock Ohio State down. He took a final visit to Florida State last weekend, and now he's shutting it down in decision-making mode. So we'll see what happens. I don't expect Jeremiah Smith to show up anywhere. I don't really expect him to say anything. I think we're just going to take this to signing day, and we're going to find out. What do you guys think? Right now, my gut says that Jeremiah Smith sticks to Ohio State, but comment section, let me know what you guys think. All right. Also, number 3, does Jordan Seaton finally sign with Colorado? Now, when he committed to Colorado, it was a shocker. The Buffaloes beat out UF, Ohio State, Alabama, Tennessee, Oregon, a lot of really quality teams. Now, but there's still action. They got him committed, but they haven't signed him yet. And there's some action taking place behind the scenes, mainly from Oregon and Tennessee. They are still making a push, and I'm keeping my eye on Seaton in Oregon. He never took his official visit there. That is still a possibility. Now, he hasn't come out and said he'll be in Oregon this weekend, but if he is to take one surprise visit down the stretch, I think it could be to Oregon. Dan Lanning visited him a few days ago. Can he shake Seaton loose off that commitment before signing day? We got to see. All right, number 4, Georgia. They're holding steady at number 1 overall in the team rankings. We got 6 days to go, and a lot could happen. But barring a crazy turn of events, I do think we see UGA finish in the top spot. Now, even if Raiola flips, get this, Georgia still has 2 of the nation's top 8 recruits committed to them. So Ohio State is lurking there at number 2, but unless they got some big flips up their sleeve that I don't even know about, I just don't see how Ohio State jumps Georgia to become number 1, but it's a storyline we're watching. Number 5, Auburn causing chaos. This is nothing new. Auburn has been a thorn in the side of a bunch of programs this year. Their top 4 commitments in the 2024 class all came via the flip. 5-star wide receiver Perry Thompson, 5-star wide receiver Cam Coleman, 4-star edge Jamonte Waller, 4-star linebacker DeMarcus Riddick. All came via the flip, and they are looking for more. And not just any flip, 5-star flips. Auburn is the hunt for 5-star UF commitment LJ McCray and 5-star FSU commitment KJ Bolden. Now, they also have Amaris Williams, defensive lineman, on campus this weekend for an official visit. He's committed to UF. So Auburn is not stopping. They are causing a ton of chaos in Hugh Freeze's first full cycle on the Plains. But those are the storylines that I am following over the next week. Tell me what you guys want to know. What's the most intriguing storyline to you? Comment section below. Let me know. We got 1 week until December 20, early signing day. Now, we're going to get the show started. We're going to talk some Dylan Raiola. We're going to talk transfer portal. But let's take a look at where the top 10 team rankings stand right now. As we talked about, UGA number 1, Ohio State number 2, Alabama in there at 3, Florida State 4, Florida hanging on to a top 5 class. Now we get to the second half. There's a couple minor tweaks here. Texas jumps Oregon into 6. Texas landed Kobe Black, one of the top corners in the country, number 4 ranked corner in America yesterday. So they flip-flop with Oregon, who the Ducks are now at 7, Miami 8, Oklahoma 9, Notre Dame 10. But look just outside that top 10. Auburn at 11, LSU at 12, Tennessee at 13. You know all 3 of those teams would like to finish inside the top 10 by Wednesday. All right, up next, we got Chad Simmons, and he is going to come in and give us the latest developments in Dylan Raiola's recruitment. Then I got transfer portal insider Pete Nakos on to talk QB transfers. Cam Ward's recruitment, maybe it's coming to an end. We'll find out where he could end up and what impact that will have on other portal QBs. All right, let's get the show started. The smoke around Dylan Raiola's recruitment didn't start leaking a little smoke. It came billowing out all at once. And we got Chad Simmons on the show to break down what is going on. Is Dylan Raiola really going to flip his commitment from Georgia to Nebraska? We got intel right now on the number 3 ranked QB in the country. But first, guys, hit subscribe for me. We want to grow this page. It's been an exciting first few months. We got it over 30K, but we need you guys to jump on board. Hit subscribe for me, please. Okay, let's bring on Director of Recruiting for On3, Chad Simmons. Chad, we're a week away from signing day, and I can't believe we're sitting here talking about Dylan Raiola potentially flipping to Nebraska. Take the people behind the scenes. How did we get here? What's going on?
Well, I think, like you said, it kind of blew up really pretty quickly. I believe, Monday evening, and when it kind of started to leak out, and it really, Georgia had an in-home with Dylan Raiola last week, and things seem to be still pretty strong there between him and Georgia. Been a long time commit. Was at pretty much every home game at Georgia this season. Has been pretty active with other guys as far as commits and recruiting players to Georgia. Then over the weekend, things started to. There's a little bit of buzz around him potentially maybe not getting to Georgia as soon as expected. He was supposed to be at Georgia this coming Saturday to start working out with the team in bowl preparation, and then just started picking up some steam and putting some pieces together about him maybe having a little bit of hesitation, and nothing on Georgia's end. Georgia was all in with Raiola, but maybe some want to take that one last trip before signing day. And Nebraska is that school that's always been down deep in that heart. And that's kind of how we got here. There was some communication between him and Nebraska. And then everything kind of exploded. That there was interest there on both sides. He set the OV up for this weekend. He wouldn't be moving to Georgia like expected. And here we are now with him still committed to Georgia, but things trending towards Nebraska.
And you're right. It's trending towards Nebraska, so much so that it sounds like it's all but a wrap once he arrives in Lincoln this weekend. Is that what's really happening?
We were just talking off air about another player, about how that stuff happens on campus and when it goes down. I mean, I think that's definitely a possibility. The timeline still kind of unknown exactly, when he'll make that final decision, whether he decides to stay with Georgia or flip over to Nebraska. What we do know, what we basically expect with confidence, is that he goes to Nebraska for an OV this weekend. Georgia was actually at his school this morning watching multiple staffers at Georgia, from Georgia at Buford, watching the team work out and, looking at some underclassmen and, of course, KJ Bolden too and guys like that. But I think all expectations are that Raiola will not be in Athens this weekend working out with Georgia, but instead will be an official visit to Nebraska. So once he gets there, wait and see.
Crazy that all this is happening after Kirby Smart's only in-home visit. Head coaches are only allowed one in-home visit during the contact period, so he already used it. Is Georgia actively trying to retain him, or are they just kind of like saying, hey, we're going to wait for him to make his decision and then deal with that?
Yeah, I think there's still communication, of course, with Georgia. Bobo is one coach there at Buford High School this morning. There's been a little bit of dialogue with the parents, mom and dad, as well, from Georgia's side. And obviously, I think Georgia definitely would love to keep him in this class. They know if there's a little bit of hesitation or a little bit of doubt or whatever's leading Raiola to take this visit to Nebraska, they know that's his choice and his decision. They'd like to have him and retain him, but at the same time, they respect him and let him take his visits.
Man, Dylan Raiola transfers from Pinnacle High School in Phoenix, Arizona as a Georgia commitment. He goes to Buford High School, and he's going to leave Buford High School as a Nebraska commitment, most likely. Whew. That's some crazy stuff right there. So, Chad, what does Georgia do now? Do they need a second quarterback in this class? What do they do?
Well, they have Ron Puglisi, so obviously, that's the big one. Obviously he's locked in. He's already, planning to be there for bowl preparation practice and things like that. So they have him in place. They're still working. I think the number one priority for Georgia right now, talking quarterbacks, is they're trying to keep Carson Beck in Athens one more season. I think that's key. Right now things, according to Rusty Mansell and Dogs HQ and that staff, things are trending that way for Beck to return for another season. So I think that's key. But I don't think, based on what I'm hearing, Georgia goes out and just offers another quarterback on the high school side for 2024 to try to add one. Now, a very interesting one is Coulter Ginn, who just played right here where I'm at yesterday to win a state championship for Perry. They offered him last week as a preferred walk-on. He had a monster season. He has offers from schools like App State, Coastal Carolina. Obviously Stetson Bennett was a walk-on at Georgia at one time too. So they're trying to get him as a preferred walk-on to add to this class in the quarterback room at Georgia. But right now I would lean towards them not offering another 2024 high school quarterback if Raiola decides to go to Nebraska.
Man, and Ryan Puglisi, he committed first. He was on that commit list well before Dylan Raiola, and he had a bit of a cult following with that Georgia fan base because when Dylan Raiola committed, Puglisi said all the right things. He didn't flinch at all. And then when all this happens on Monday, all the smoke around Dylan Raiola happens, Ryan Puglisi, the very next morning, just happened to be doing his signing ceremony, signifying that he is ready to enroll at Georgia. And boy, are Georgia fans ready to see Ryan Puglisi after all of this Dylan Raiola drama. We talk about QB dominoes, and when we do, every move kind of disrupts another quarterback. So in this case, Dylan Raiola going to Nebraska, you got to think Daniel Kaelin moves on, but he already flipped from Mizzou to Nebraska. What do you think happens with Daniel Kaelin in his commitment to Nebraska if Dylan Raiola flips?
Yeah, I've talked to other people about this. It'd be Raiola from Ohio State to Georgia to Nebraska, and then Daniel Kaelin, Missouri, Nebraska to the third school. I think, the word has hit this morning, he'll take an OV to Michigan State this weekend. So I think that's obviously one to watch. I think, obviously, when this news started to get to him and his family, they've done some homework and made some phone calls to see maybe what schools are still looking for quarterbacks in this class, and Michigan State is one. He's had a relationship there in the past. That's obviously a school in the Midwest, not too far from his home. So I think Michigan State obviously becomes one to follow, one to track with Daniel Kaelin. But I think if things go as they're trending and Raiola ends up at Nebraska, I think Kaelin ends up elsewhere.
QB dominoes, they're about to fall. A lot of major developments happening. We're just a week out from signing day. This is how it goes. Chad Simmons, thank you for joining us and dropping all this scoop on the Inside Scoop today. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
I talked to transfer portal insider Pete Nakos on yesterday's show, but things are moving so fast in the portal right now that I'm going to have him right back on because there's been a major development with the number one ranked transfer portal quarterback Cam Ward. He departed his visit yesterday to Miami, got in his car, and drove 8 hours up to Tallahassee. So Ward is expected to be meeting with the FSU staff today. So we're going to break it all down with my man Pete Nakos. But first, FSU fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. It's recruiting season. It's portal season. Let's go. Hit subscribe for me, please. All right, let's bring on Portal Pete because it's that time of year. And Pete, I think I need to be having you on every 8 to 12 hours because things just move so fast. Yesterday's video was about DJ Uiagalelei and his scheduled visit to FSU. But before DJU even gets to campus, it looks like Cam Ward jumped the line. What do you think this means for Miami? Because let's rewind it a second. They were hoping to maybe close this thing out, but now that he's left campus, do you think that hurts Miami's chances?
I don't think it hurts Miami's chances, but it obviously makes extremely clear that Cam Ward wants to evaluate all his options.
All right, so what are your sources saying about FSU's chances now that he's on campus there?
I mean, I think Florida State has a big shot. I think Tuesday, Wednesday we talked, and Florida State really wasn't sure if Cam was going to show up on campus, and now we're here, and he's going to make that drive north, actually. So I think it's a big deal for Florida State. Cam Ward has always been like 1A on the board, with DJU a very close 1B, just from what sources have told me. So getting him on campus obviously helps the Seminoles out in that recruitment.
Yeah, so do you think that FSU would prefer Ward over DJU? Because DJU had that visit scheduled on Friday. It looked like he was going to be the first quarterback to visit FSU, but now Cam Ward's there first.
Yeah, I continue to think that Florida State would like to take Cam Ward over DJU. But DJ and Florida State have been talking ever since he went in the portal. So I think it really is a 1A, 1B thing. I don't think there's like a massive separation. But yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. So when it comes to Cam Ward's recruitment, it sounds like it's FSU and Miami, but is there another school or two that could get into the race, or is this really just a two-team battle with FSU and Miami?
You know, earlier in the week, it really felt like it was a one-team battle, and now it's a two-team battle. And now I'm starting to hear that there could be another visit. ESPN reported a little bit earlier that Nebraska, Washington, and USC could all be that third possible visit if Cam makes the decision to take that third visit. But yeah, and as we mentioned, like Miami had him on campus first. That says something about how serious he's taking Mario Cristobal and the Hurricanes.
Right. All right. So where does this all leave FSU and DJU? How do you think that they play this? Are they all in on Cam Ward, going to push for a commitment even before DJU makes it to campus?
You know, I don't know, but that's a great question. And it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out because Cam leaves Saturday and the expectation from sources is that DJ rolls in on Saturday. So will DJ ever make it to campus? I mean, I think so. That's what we're trending towards, but I'm sure if they're having Cam Ward on campus, they want Cam.
Right.
And they would love to have Cam leave being a Seminole.
All right. So if that were to happen, let's just say Cam Ward goes off the board to the NFL or FSU. What would Miami do? Who do they turn to in the transfer portal at quarterback?
I still think Will Howard's their guy, right? They had him on campus before Cam Ward. Will's been tied to USC a few times, but yeah, I think Miami would immediately turn to having Will Howard, the Kansas State transfer, on campus. As their top target, they already had him on campus.
All right, so we know the transfer portal moves quickly, especially at the quarterback position. So do you think that by the end of the weekend, one of, or maybe both, FSU and Miami will have their transfer portal quarterback?
I think that Cam Ward is going to go home and evaluate his decisions and really figure that out and maybe go on that third visit. But I will say that if Cam Ward doesn't become a Seminole when he's on campus and DJU makes it on campus, I could really see DJ being a one and done and Florida State getting their guy because they're not going to want it to drag out.
Yeah, and I don't think DJU wants it to drag out either. And the next couple of days between high school recruiting, portal recruiting, it's going to be insane. Pete Nakos from On3, thank you for dropping by the Inside Scoop and kind of breaking down this QB battle that's waging in the state of Florida.
Thanks so much, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.